Welcome to Philly Coco Presents Side Project Spotlight, episode 102. This is developers' journey to making cool stuff. I'm Kotaro.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are Philly Coco, a Philadelphia-based Coco Heads community focused on Apple development. That primarily, but not exclusively, means iOS, Mac, tvOS, watchOS, and visionOS development. Philly Coco's true desire is to take you higher on your own developer journey. Whew. All right, season finale.
That's right. Before we started recording, we were trying to figure out what season, because we haven't really done seasons and we didn't mark the episodes of season, but I think we're going to call this season 5, because apparently we've been doing this since 2021 in some capacity.
Goodness. Yes, we have. And I don't know, Aaron, how do you feel?
I don't know. Season 5 is like when everything all falls apart in every show, isn't it?
I know, right?
Mutiny. Somebody turns into a super diva.
Oh no. I don't know. Do you think should we start marking the episodes with because there's a little metadata spot for season, and I think in podcast apps it'll let you group them or something. So we start doing that for next season.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. I'll do it. I'll do it for fun.
Yeah.
So this is the season 5 or the season finale for 2025. We're gonna take a break after this for the rest of the year and going on holiday. And then we're going to come back strong, hopefully, with our next project. So that means today, this episode is for us to kind of, I guess, throw out there some of the themes, I guess you'd say, for side project ideas we've been kind of discussing off stream. Is that what the kids say? Off pod? Whatever.
It's no longer offline. It's no longer
offline.
Off the record.
It's offline. That dates us to be, old school.
Well, I mean, there was a time where people used to work with their programs and their apps offline. Like there was a time where you would use Photoshop with no internet connection, and not
I remember
have to worry
programming
about
with no internet connection. I remember programming in like C and in BASIC, I think, on a computer with no internet access.
Those
and you
Javas
just had to
in the
like.
good old days.
I remember writing code, I think, on paper too.
I mean, I think
and
we date ourselves back to knowing like our memory management days and pre-ARC days.
Yeah, dude,
this is before Aaron's time. Aaron's like, I only came in when Swift came by.
So I used to buy the 2600 zine, and they would have like I think source code like in there. You could read for different things.
You mean
and there were other magazines
you had to read? You couldn't copy paste that.
Like I could copy paste by hand. I mean, it was like a paper zine I was buying from the Barnes & Noble. You
had to retype everything?
I don't even know if I
look down, look at the book.
I think I just
look at the code, look at the book.
But there was, I mean, when I started my programming life, I mean, I was reading paper books about programming, and then you'd have to copy it. Or I was messing with the code that was already pre-installed, like in QBasic in the DOS days. And then I learned C, I think, in JavaScript and stuff in high school.
Good old Tim O'Reilly days when you'd had some nice programming books with weird animals and you're not quite sure how the animal is actually associated with a programming language.
Yeah. Swift has an animal, doesn't it? Is it like a bird or something?
Well, yeah, but I don't think in the
if they had an O'Reilly book on Swift, what would it be?
Let me check.
Do they even have one? There's also an O'Reilly generator somewhere.
Like Perl has the camel. Let me see. Tim O'Reilly books. Like, see. WebSocket has like a weird plant. I'm trying to think for Java. Oh no, wait, was it? I'm looking for like old apps here. Java had a rabbit. JavaScript had a rhino. As it's like hardcore Java had a lion. And learning Java had a tiger with kittens. I
got a great one.
Practical C had a cow.
Wait, guys, I know that you on the
real?
Viewers you can't see this, but I just created something. I'm going to screen share this with you.
No.
So those listening, I went to some kind of O'Reilly book cover generator, like a fake book cover, and I made Vibing with Swift, the definitive guide. Make Swift great again.
Whoa.
And I told it to AI an animal image, and it's like a half dog, part goose, whatever the heck that is, some kind of bird, ostrich. I don't know. It's some horrible chimera.
Wow, that's definitely like the worst kind of mutation of a chimera I've ever seen.
I saved it, so I'll put it in the podcast when you're listening to the intro. I'll put it up there in the. You'll be able to see it in Overcast.
Well. True to form, we've derailed this podcast
already.
5 minutes in.
Season 5 curse has already begun.
What we're talking about?
Yeah. What were we talking about again?
We were talking
about what are the types of side project ideas? That's what we want to do.
That's right. Okay, back on track. Thanks, Aaron. Okay, well, the thing that is, like, in my mind, there are certain side projects that are kind of like still a work in progress, right? So one of the obvious ones was the one that we just released in the wild, which was Bento Fit, which, Steve, if you can briefly explain what that is for our podcast guests who have not heard about this wonderful app.
Yes, Bento Fit. We released it in September. You can look at the website at bentofit.app. It is a glanceable dashboard for Health Kit. So we have a subset of metrics you can get from the Health Kit, and instead of going to the Health app, you can open our app. It has this beautiful-looking dashboard interface. It's very cool-looking that Cultro designed. It has some shader action in there. If you're a developer, you know what that is. And we plan on doing some updates. We talked about this before, but we actually are going to do some updates. And we have a whole list of things like more data points, widgets for sure, probably an Apple Watch extension. And then I think I want to experiment maybe adding some other features like fitness goals, an LM kind of summaries. And then I think probably in this new upcoming, AI dingus era that we should have app intents, because I think that's the framework for the new dingus to hook into your app. So, and I say dingus, if you don't know what that means, that's because if I say the actual word of the assistant that's on your phone, it might activate it in all your devices. And that happened to me recording this podcast before. So I'm just extra careful. But that's definitely something we'll do. We'll do Bento Fit updates, but that can't be the whole thing because we have to do something new as well to keep ourselves entertained.
I guess, the fundamental question is, like, part of it is like understanding some of the trends that are coming down the pike we should expect from, and of course we're just deluged with AI everything.
Yeah, we gotta have to make some kind of AI slop of some sort in here. We gotta incorporate the slop somehow.
But I think we want to, at the very least, because a lot of this is about learning new technologies, learning new things, building things. We do have some things that we are not specifically or exclusively around AI, right? And one of them is server-side Swift, right? Is that the next one on this list?
That's on our list. I mean,
it's on our list.
I think I speak for all three of us. We believe that the quote unquote AI stuff has some utility, but I personally think that it's most useful as like a feature in something, not as the thing you interact with itself. Like that's definitely a competition in the marketplace right now, where it's like OpenAI seems to be all about like making ChatGPT, the chat interface itself, do everything. Like they're adding like little chat apps in there you can hook into. They're adding like group chat in the chat, which is, I mean, who would have thought having something called ChatGPT would actually have chat between human beings? Who knew? But that's coming apparently. And
wait, hold on. Did you say group chat?
Yeah, man, it's group chat
in ChatGPT. How does that work?
Are
you having chats with multiple GPTs? Is that
no? It's other humans.
Other humans,
the ones that because we're not gonna have jobs, because GPT's gonna be doing it all, right? Isn't that the idea?
Yeah, but what is the point of talking to other humans?
Well, how can the next great podcast start without a? What's the point of talking with other humans? Like, why bother? F those people. I just want to talk to my robot. Oh my God, we're doomed. So doomed. Oh, wait. Helpfully, we so derailed this. The season 5 curse. But look, OpenAI has a website for this in their help section, and they have helpful bullet lists. They probably generated this with ChatGPT because it loves to do bullet lists. Okay, you could plan events with friends or family. I mean, you could talk to your friends or family, like physically or on the phone, but this is better. Just send them a chat message. Collaborate on projects. I don't know what that means exactly, but, with a chat bot, but share links, notes, files, and images so everyone, including ChatGPT, has the same context, and you can make decisions together. So the idea is you have a chat, like a group chat like we have, but then one of the participants is the robot, and then the robot can like do things in response to the context of the chat.
So you mean to tell me we're only going to have one robot in each group chat that's going to gaslight us and say how great we are, and how none of us in that group chat is going to get furious and angry at this chat, and it's not going to turn into this massive screaming.
No, and then ChatGPT will come in to calm us down about our job loss because of ChatGPT. It'll come in and be like, "Don't worry, you're going to be fine. I got your back, even though I took your job." It's going to be like a weird kind of situation.
Like,
but
so if I scream at it, it's like, "You took my job." It'll say, "You're right. I did take your job."
I was screaming at Grok 4.1 or whatever the heck it is today, because it is just as annoying as all the other ones with this the way that the text comes out of these things, and it's like, shut up, stop.
I was just talking with one of my coworkers today, and I was like, does when you prompt it and you're going through this, like going through this code thing, does it always end with you angrily telling it how horrible and stupid it is? Because I feel like I have a bout. Like, I have a moment where, like, I am so infuriated each time I'm, like, doing these little test runs of, like, okay, make this little small thing. It's like, hey, yeah, I got this shader that I got, silly me, foolish, stupid me said, Sonnet 4.5 can probably do a metal shader well now.
No, nothing can.
Literally
it's an impossible
me
task.
5 times saying, yeah, I got your glowing laser beams, your wavy glowing laser beams working and animating right now. It's like, you did the settings part, great. You did the settings part, fantastic. But I see nothing. I see nothing animating in my metal shader screen. Can you give me a red border, just to know that it's there, and a play button to stop and pause it? And it's like, I did it, and it's got it animating. And it's like, I don't see anything. Maybe you're the problem.
Yeah, maybe you're the problem.
Gave me like an answer.
Wait, it told you?
Maybe you should check. Maybe you should. Well, it didn't necessarily. It did. Yeah, it didn't. Said, I am paraphrasing.
Yeah,
but
of course.
It is basically saying you should check on these 5 itemized things that maybe you did wrong.
But you're the robot. Why don't you check on it? Why am I doing it? How is it saving time?
I felt like I don't know if this is any better or worse than my I know as a programmer, right? Like, we all get frustrated and angry that we can't get something to work, right? Like, that's a common and frequent thing. So I
have a mouth like a sailor when I'm programming.
Right. But that's like that's a skill issue-ish, right? Like, that's like, you kind of know, it's like, okay, I know there's a way around this somewhere in my brain, recess in my brain. I can figure this out, right?
Right, because we're building deterministic software. We're not rolling dice and hoping the slop works. Well, that's what we used to be. Now we're rolling dice. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
now we're like, we just
hope
the robot works.
I'm using some good tokens here, and I'm blowing my roll of tokens. I'm like, go, and I'm rolling them out there, and I'm like, all right, you gonna do something? You gonna do something good for me? Go on, do something good for me. Nope. Yeah. So yeah,
what's the harness though it's using? Like for using Copilot, GitHub Copilot, like what?
Yeah.
Like, what's the program around the model? Like, how are you interacting with it?
I am using Copilot. To be fair, I am trying to ask it to do an impossible in. What was it? I initially tried to do it as an extension, Copilot extension in Xcode, which in itself is fine.
I think one of the things about these models, you can get really wildly different results depending on what, like, control program, harness, whatever the heck the terminology is for these things. So if you're using like Codex, the CLI, or like, Claude Code or one of those things, are using like an extension in one program versus another, or using Cursor, like, you can get different results just because the harness program is different, the tools that are available are different, and the system prompts that are getting injected on your behalf are different. It's a giant mess.
I know.
It sounds like it. All I got to deal with is the complete piece of crap Office 365 Enterprise Copilot that is in a web view that just eats up all your memory and eventually crashes and is slow as anything. That's what I got to deal with. It sounds like you have it worse somehow.
I mean, I'm doing it because I'm trying to be at least an open-minded person about it. It's not. There's something different between learning Swift UI, just cold turkey from UI kit, and learning this workflow that is it almost feels like empty calories, if that makes any sense. Or like you don't work the muscle in the same way, so it doesn't feel like you've earned anything once you're done with it. And I get that efficiency and speed and blah blah blah, but something's lost in the experiential part of it that I don't know. There's a long-term implication, I find. But anyway, I digress. We're talking about server-side Swift.
I've been wanting to do a server-side Swift thing for a while. Aaron, you've said you're interested.
Yeah. Something I want to try for a while, but I just don't know what I want to build with it.
So I had made a suggestion, or I've alluded to this suggestion. It's like, take something that's been in Shitify and unshitify it. Excuse my vernacular.
How many times can we say the word shitification before we get like an explicit tag on Apple Podcasts? No, I think it's been long enough that no one's going to care. Certainly not YouTube.
It's in the dictionary. It's fine.
That's right. But no, you make an excellent point. So Kotaro, you've been mentioning forever, because Kotaro and I are basically the two primary people running the Philly Coca Heads organization and like the meetings. And we hate Meetup with a passion I don't think is understandable unless you are on the back end of it. Yeah, like you can't understand how bad Meetup has become unless you have to deal with it as an organizer. It's like really expensive, and it doesn't seem to provide much value anymore. And we had all kinds of other trouble getting data out of it. So we've always thought about making a Meetup replacement, but obviously not like a full-fledged one, but maybe just something for Philly Coca that might work.
Yeah, take out all the crappy part.
Yeah, we'll become web developers, but with Swift.
Yeah, but now we can use tech that we actually like using.
Well, and this might be a good year because Apple has actually been putting a lot of effort into server-side Swift stuff. I mean, Aaron also he mentioned in the notes here, this may not be relevant to any particular project, but there was a new blog post about temporal Swift SDK to let you make like async workflows or something, which is kind of cool. Like there's just all this action happening on the server side on Swift. Yeah, it might be a good time to do it. The other option I think I mentioned was a Swift-based website for the podcast, because right now our podcast website is with I'm trying to remember it's the Free Transistor FM, which is a good podcast host, but not actually our current podcast host. But they are a generous company, and they offer the ability for you to just point any like RSS feed, any podcast to their like website builder, and it'll just automatically build a website with one of the other templates. It's limited on the free plan, but it works. And what we need is basically something that just generates this website, but maybe does a better job at rendering the show notes, maybe. But it could just do our own thing. It really doesn't require much. It's mostly just parsing RSS, and we could definitely use some Claude slop to get the website part.
Well, if you're using server-side Swift, that's definitely a thing to make sure you have to write it by hand, because those models aren't going to know anything about Swift.
Yeah, that's true. About server-side Swift, anyway. To this day, even the latest models, I'll ask it to
server-side Swift.
Yeah, I'll ask them to do stuff, and unless I'm really explicit, sometimes they'll still drop to, like when I asked about Swift UI stuff, it'll just go to observable object and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like it'll still do the older and combine. It'll still do those APIs unless I'm specific and say, don't do that, do observable, don't use combine, and it'll work better. So, I don't think there's much hope for server side.
At least for me, it also really, really, really hates switch statements for some reason.
It doesn't like to generate them, or just does them wrong. Yeah. They're like if statements everywhere.
Yeah, it's like nested if statements and long if statements. I'm like, guys, come on.
So I do think, though, that server-side Swift, especially if we keep it small, it's either a big project that we focus on, or it could be like a small side project that happens that is not taking up all of our time. But I do think we'll probably do something. I feel like we're probably going to touch server-side Swift because we have projects we need to do for ourselves or maybe for Philly Coca heads that we might want to do. So I feel like that's probably high up there. I mean, I feel it, Aaron. Do you feel the pull of server-side Swift?
Yeah, maybe this will be the thing to finally get me to try it.
Yeah, the year of Linux desktop, the year of server-side Swift, all in one, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
This will be finally the year of the Linux desktop.
We've heard that several times, but there are some potential truisms there.
Yeah, you can run Swift on it.
Yeah, well, now that we can run Swift on it, yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I'm sure it's not particularly, because what's the UI framework if you're doing it on Linux?
Tickle? I don't know. I built something in Tickle,
question.
I think, once. It was a long time ago. TCL.
Oh, that's a real thing?
Yeah, you didn't know Tickle is? I'm not making it up.
Oh, TCL. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced
I didn't know
Tickle.
that. That's what that's how they pronounced it. All right. What other things are on our list of to-dos? Our list of options.
Well, we got the game idea. You've been kind of floating this for a long time. It might be a big item to take off, but what was your idea for a game idea?
So, long time ago, I had this sample code for Godot game. It was an endless runner, but it was kind of an endless runner going up with a kind of like a vertical runner going up where you're jumping platforms and you're trying to avoid and just kind of going up like, shaft basically. And you're just trying to escape certain doom.
Did you make some kind of demo?
Yeah, just a basic vanilla one.
Yeah.
But it was based off of a sample code, but it was a good way to make a mobile game that was not too complicated, but also one of the things that I added late in the process was like, in and of itself is kind of boring because like you fall down a pit and you die. But one of the things I wanted to do was
that tends to happen.
Yeah, right. Because you cannot outlast the endless runner. Although in this case, I think you could because it was not particularly hard.
I like this, and the things that could be chasing us in this endless runner could be the icons of the different AI models.
I mean, I was thinking much more like
trying to eat us.
All the NVIDIA chips are trying to keep falling down.
Instead of coins, we get little briefcases that represent jobs, and then we lose them when the AI models touch us. Yeah, our health is actually our jobs. Yeah, and the AI models take them. I'm sure we could find some kind of angle here. Look, it has to have some kind of AI in the title so we get attention, because otherwise, apparently, we're invisible.
So here's the thing, right? I'm undecided how I want to approach this because it's Godot. But it would be kind of funny. Not funny, but one of the mechanics of this game was I had a quote-unquote AI sort of announcing. It was meant to be a tutorial AI that would kind of tell you, hey, it was supposed to describe the lore of the world that you're in, which is like,
right.
You're an employee of like, what's that alien company's name? My goodness, it starts with a W.
Wayland,
thank you.
Wayland Yutani or something.
Wayland? Yeah, Yutani.
Yeah, Wayland Yutani is the later
is kind of like that kind of company, and you're trying to escape. Yeah, like the whole factory is blowing up, and you're trying to escape certain doom. So like the bottom is like blowing up, explosions everywhere, and things are falling apart. So like debris coming down from the top of the shaft, lava is coming up from the bottom. Whatever, right? You're just trying to escape, and that's how this endless runner mechanic will work. And in the background, there would be this AI, quote unquote AI, that would kind of describe the lore. So it's trying to say, hey, and describe like what you can do. Like the money that you collect is, this corporation's money, and you need to collect as much as you can so that it makes its quota. By the way, and then maybe there would be a mechanic where you can actually spend money in its corporate shop so that it can get you to get more money because like you're a useful employee. But if you don't collect enough money, they will fire you, right? So it's kind of has like this level of tension on like multiple angles. And the other thing about it was like, as you continue up this ladder, right? Because it's it's a sloppy model.
Yeah.
It's like stuck in the 80s or 90s. So it'll start referencing like horrible, or like the early 2000s. So it starts referencing like horrible 2000 terms like
this is a great place to put an LLM in there to generate the crap. Yeah, I like that.
Exactly. That's exactly my point.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it would have all these outdated like cultural references. So it's like
we just have to create a system prompt. It's like only between 1980 and 1999 references, please.
Yeah, and it's like all I want to do is a zoom, and a boom, boom, and then it'll blow up things.
Yeah.
Just like really weird, like offbeat references. But I need it randomized, right? And I need it to be, and I need the model to be, well, what perfect way then to integrate foundation model?
Yeah, I know. Can we do that from Godot? Can you call into that from a Godot app?
Yeah, you can do something using a Godot a GD extension, which accesses, like, you can access Swift and all the other, but I don't know how deep. I assume you can access the deeper frameworks like foundation model.
It's a pretty simple API, so we hope we'd be able to wrap it. I mean, it seems like something somebody would be working on anyway.
Yeah, so then I would use the power of Godot's, powerful game engine framework, and then I could use the backend, the foundation model, to bring the text back, maybe even bring in, I'm trying to figure out like how to properly have a speech-to-text mechanic. I'm sorry, text-to-speech mechanic, so that it would say the thing that in a very robotic manner, but then get just more like unhinged as the further you go up, so that at some point it just makes no sense. It just wants, like, the whole point of it is like, make me money, get me money, give me money, all the money. Why are you so horrible? Get me more money, fill my quota. It's just the level of unhingedness just gets worse. So you're actually incentivized to try to live as long as possible, but also incentivized, like, maybe to like figure out ways to shut this thing up. So I don't know. That is the game idea in a nutshell. And then it would probably be iOS. What's hilarious is like it would be iOS 26 only, and it has to be like on certain hardware. So it only would work with like, was it iPhone 15 Pros and above?
I'm trying to find if you can use the Foundations framework, and like most of the answer is no, but maybe there's a way to do it anyway.
Not directly.
It says use a GD extension wrapping the models.
Yes.
That's what it says.
That's what you would do.
Okay.
Which is basically like...
We could get it to work, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I like this idea. I mean, so we did one for my company. So this next big project is for Tomato Boy anyway. So you get like an extra vote on whatever we do, I guess, because it's for you. Oh. But I like the idea of a game. I've never done a game myself, except for maybe... mess around with the QBasic games like, decades ago. I never built a game from scratch. I played around with Unity before, but like a much older version. I never went very far with it. So, I mean, I might be down for doing a game. I think that'd be cool, and an endless runner game. Yeah, you guys
game
did
was I think released, not a Game Jam game, but like release was, I think, Puck Striker, which was a sprite game.
2017 or something, 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was a Game Jam game that we did. It was air hockey, basically, on an iPhone and an iPad.
We could do this project like a Game Jam. Like the scope is the size of a Game Jam.
Yeah,
to get it out the door, like version 1.
Yeah, I would not want to do it any more than like a month.
I mean, I like the idea of like, I mean, the controls for vertical endless runner can't be that complicated. They have to be pretty simple. It's tapping and swiping, right? Or just moving.
It's either,
like, how do
either you drag it, or you can even use the accelerometer to like.
Oh yeah. So there's some ways we could have an interesting mechanic that's easy.
Yeah.
And then basically the game is about the atmosphere, and the jokes. It doesn't have to be like the most graphically cool looking thing, but it could be. You could use assets and stuff from. You don't even have to do too many custom assets. You could maybe modify some stuff from the store or whatever. Does Godot have like the equivalent of like Unity's store?
Kind of, but they're actually going to upgrade it to be an actual store versus like I think before it's just like free. No. They didn't have like any way to monetize that, but the next later versions they want to integrate that because they want to create an ecosystem much like an asset store.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Well, so this is also going up there as possibly a likely candidate. We'll find out. I like this idea. We still got some time left in the pod. We also have like a list of Vibey. The section called Vibey, which is our behind the scenes talk for if we get to this, we'll just wing it.
Yeah.
But we had some other random stuff in here. I had a couple on here from for years I've had some stuff in here, which is it's very, very specific to me. One of them was a photo journal app, or I don't know what you call it, like a music show app. I don't know what you call it, but I've had this very specific need, which maybe no one else on earth does, and maybe there's software that does this. I don't know. But like, I go to a lot of music shows. Like, I have an album on my phone right now, which is not all of the shows that I've been to, but it is a 2025 concerts, and I already have 1, 2, 3, more than a dozen of these things, 2 dozen of these things or something in here. Like, so I go to a lot of these shows, or I see musicians in different places, and I take pictures with my phone a lot of times. It's like, I don't always have my main camera. And or if I do, I end up creating an album this year and I put them in iCloud. But whatever. So the main idea is, if I take my phone someplace, like go out someplace, I take a few photos or something, I want to have those photos be automatically kind of associated with the time, place, and the event, and the band, and the venue, and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like I should be able to do that once I have like put in the band info and the venue info one time. I should be able to automatically figure out where I am based on location. I should be able to easily figure out what the band is with, like, I start typing in a few letters or something. Like I use an app, I use YNAB, I've talked about that before, and they have like locations for the payee, right? When you go type it in, it automatically just, sees your location and auto fills it in, and you can just easily search for stuff like that level of complexity. I'm not talking about super complex stuff. And then have the photos also be part of it. And there's a journal API in iOS. You can use like prompt people to do a journal entry, which I think I could use. It's pretty simplistic, but then you could have the thing like the next day prompt you, and then it could like maybe collate this information from your photos library. So here's all the photos you took yesterday at this particular location, and I figured out that this was probably this venue and like maybe this band or something. Like you could get any information you get from things you can access on the phone. Maybe you could tie it together and just make it easier so that I can have a log of these things. And then kind of tangentially related to that is another app idea which I had like yesterday, which is just, I need a way. If I have like here's my scenario. If I have like, imagine this scenario, which really happened. You go and you spend a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours at a show, and you end up with over 500 photos on your phone because you did not have a real camera and you were actually shooting it like you were. So you have over 500 photos, and now you have to go through 500 plus photos and pick out like 10 or something, or 3 or 14 to like actually edit in Lightroom or something and then publish on like Instagram or whatever. The culling process is a pain in the ass. Now, I know Lightroom you can sort of do this on Lightroom on your phone, but I didn't really find it very helpful. What I ended up doing was, in the Photos app, I would go through the photos, and I searched for yesterday, because I did this on like Sunday, and the event was Saturday. So I searched for yesterday. I got all the photos from that day, and then I went through them like one at a time, and I just favorited the ones that I thought might be useful that I was going to look at later. And then I just like, every once in a while, anything not favorited, I would just delete. It took forever. It's slow. It's kind of sloppy. It's hard to see the photos, in there. Otherwise, you have to zoom in. And if you zoom into the full size, then the delete button takes even longer because you have to hit delete. And then the iOS 26 goes bloop with the, with the like, the little buttons. You hit the delete button. It's like, are you sure? It goes bloop. And you're like, yes, I'm sure. And then it has a slow animation as it deletes the image. And it's like, oh, God. All the animations slow you down. What I want is a simple way of culling the stuff. I'm like, here's all the hundreds of photos you took. Here's them really big. Have a little gesture like in Lightroom where you can like flag them or whatever, or star them. And then just like anything that's marked for delete, you can just hit a button at the end. It just deletes them all, and it works off your Photos app instead of like having to be imported or anything. And I think Lightroom kind of can do this, but I didn't find it very intuitive to do it in the Lightroom app. So I was just like, I want something that's really, really basic and simple. I just need to cull this stuff, delete the stuff, and then whatever's left over, put it into like an album or something so that I can get to it easily through other apps, and then I can edit them. And then ideally, I would love to be able to somehow detect the images that I export from like Lightroom and get them into an album, because I don't think I can do that from Lightroom directly. I think I had to export them, and then I had to go and look at recent photos are recently added in that like automatic album, the Photos app, and then I could see them all and collect them and then manually put them into an album. It's just a lot of tedium to do this, and I just want to make it really fast. So that was my other add-on. That's kind of two related things, very specific to me and nobody else in the world probably. But like a photo like I don't know what we call this, music show photo journal app, log, and then the photo culling organizer app. That was the two things.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of culling, I mean, I remember going through even just a basic set of photos, and you do a couple of taps just to make sure you did it right, and you have one good one.
Yeah, exactly. You take a bunch of photos, and then or if you can figure out how to make the Photos app do the burst mode anymore. Does anybody know how to get it to work? The only way I got it to work was there's a switch you can say to make, I think, one of the volume buttons do it, but you used to be able to just hold down on the screen, but now that goes to like record video. I don't know. It's annoying because I need burst mode to work, and I can't reliably get burst mode to work. But if you do that, then you end up with like 30, photos, but they're in like a little burst photo, so at least they're in one place in the UI.
I know. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, there's that control panel thing, but I'm like, still not.
It's also like the camera app. I like some of the new design, but I need to adjust the exposure setting all the time. And, I have to tap and like drag it and then dismiss it. I'm like, I just need to do this quickly. It's whatever. I'm not going to complain too much about the Photos app because it's not meant for the type of use case I use it for, but it is the most stable Photos app. Okay, I got to say, for the stuff I do, is I take a whole bunch of photos, usually at the maximum 48 megapixels whenever possible, and I'm taking like a bunch of them in a row over and over again, and I need the thing to quickly process them and save them to the phone and not crash. And every other photo app I've ever used crashes way more than the Apple one in my scenarios. Even with a 17, not as much with 17, but my 14, and before that my 11. My 11 I could barely use it for this. My 14 would crash, though, with like Halide and stuff. And it wasn't Halide's fault or Lightroom's camera. It wasn't there. It was just like too much data like being processed or whatever.
Right.
So they're my Vibey picks. What else we got in here?
Dad joke app, which according to Aaron should not be that hard to make. Can you do it in one prompt?
Maybe.
All right.
Depends what language you want to do it in.
I assume in English for us, but...
No, I mean, what programming language?
I just assumed you make a web app, but...
Yeah, well, then you could probably one-shot that.
We can just do it. We can do it as an Expo app or whatever, right?
Ooh, do you even
We can do it as a cross-platform. We can do it as a cross-platform AI slop app. Make it work on... And be our first Android app, too.
I mean, it would be kind of funny if eventually we get to a point where you build it in one language and most of it will be vibe coded in the other, like the other native app's language. Or
look, this is actually not a bad idea to try that. Like if you're going to try with something, this is so simple. Literally, the basic form of it is either a list of dad jokes or an LLM that generates dad jokes on demand, and then you stick them on the screen.
If I like preset up both projects, right? If I preset up like dad joke Android, dad joke iOS, and then be like, okay, I'm going to vibe code this in Swift first. And then once I'm done in a satisfactory level, I'm going to be like, okay, now make point the project. I don't know how you would do it, but like say, this is the project as my reference. Make the Android version of this and see if that works.
Yeah. I mean,
do it in Kotlin. Do it in Jetpack Compose.
Do it in Kotlin. Yeah. We might have to use like Claude Code or one of those things, agentic things, or just run in a loop. Churns through and burns
I'm probably sure like Gemini is probably the best for doing it in Kotlin, right?
Yeah, maybe it'll be our Gemini 3.0 test when that comes out.
Exactly. And then it's like make it look exactly like this one, but in Android.
Well, I don't know. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
What?
But I think
it'll be functional.
I think an AI slop dad joke app is actually fun. We could do that for that. That's like
that would be like
quickie.
For kicks and giggles. Yeah,
that could be for kicks and giggles. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know whether you'll actually be able to release it.
I mean,
that's why it might be a web app.
It would actually be useful for me to do as like our one more thing.
Yeah, could you release it? I mean, would it do enough to get through app review?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or here's another thought. Apple just had that they had that program for mini apps. If we find someone who has one of those apps on there that accepts mini apps, we could do it as a little web app, and it can be in the mini app bundle. But like that whole thing is weird because it's not like it's new that you can do these apps apparently, but they have this like partnership program. But you can't make the store app and put in the mini app. Apparently, it's like. You could make the store app or you can make the mini app, so you can't both be the same person. That's what I've read it as. It's confusing. It's meant for like if I have the store app, then these are the terms that apply. I think that's what it means. I don't know. I've never done any of these. But anyway, I'm saying if we could do it as like a mini app, we could do that as a web app. We couldn't get it through as like a Swift app or something.
Yeah.
But or if we don't want to go through the effort because that's a lot of effort nowadays to put something in the store. It's a lot more effort than it used to be 10 years ago.
I mean, honestly, like the whole point is it's much more of like an experiment of like.
It just runs on localhost or runs.
Can we do it? Yeah. Can we do it?
Or like, yeah.
Can we actually pull that off of just like.
Side load it.
But no, just like a mirror, even just doing the mirroring of it. It doesn't have to be like an app store app. We just like as like an experiment of like, what is the point of cross-platform, right? If you can do the cross-platform, if you can do it in one platform and just have it optimized use the most optimized native code for the other platform and just mirror it.
You know, these are interesting experiments. I feel like you're not going to be able to just write an app and then have one of these models just like make a properly implemented other platform app, I think, very well.
This is the future, Steve.
Wait. I'm saying if you can properly architect it, depending on what you're translating, I could see if like you could properly architect the business logic so that was the same, and you're just asking it to do like a UI, maybe you could do that.
Yeah.
I think Aaron and I are probably on the same page about being very skeptical that you can just be like anything of moderate complexity or more and just be like, here you go, make a duplicate of this on Android or vice versa, and then have it just like work one shot and have no issues, no bugs, no security holes, proper UI and everything. It can't even like it can't even do.
I'm just saying
properly.
That's the sales pitch of React Native and Flutter, right?
Oh well, yeah. Like, you want to do it in React Native or Flutter, then that's a different story. That's like gonna. I mean, it's going to work like a React Native or Flutter app.
My point is like, what if you could do it natively
in Swift
and still get the same benefits as if you were doing it cross-platform?
Well, there is that whole Swift for Android project too.
Yeah, that's also a point.
I mentioned that to an Android dev, and he's like, "Well, there's also the Kotlin thing." I was like, "Yeah, but we don't use Kotlin. Swift is better." I know that exists. But nobody cares.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you use Swift instead.
It's all Objective-C under the hood.
I know. A lot of it is Objective-C under the hood still.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have like seconds left for our deadline. Do you want to go through any more Vibey picks?
All right, so one simple one. I don't even want to talk about the animation one just yet because it's still like
it just did, so that's done.
But that's gone. That's gone. The other one is hardware. So we could try little Raspberry Pi. We could try all sorts of different things with it. Raspberry Pi 5. So whether it be home automation stuff, whether it be, I think, so for me, I'm just at the moment where I feel like I want to get into much more. One of the things that, because it's so easy to do software, right? Like part of what keeps you employed more or less is your ability to sort of A, pivot to other things, but B, find the things that are hard to copy or to be able to replicate, right?
Yeah, right.
And you don't get much harder than hardware.
Yeah, you can't 3D print a Raspberry Pi quite yet.
I mean, you can, but okay,
the not casing, all the circuits and stuff. You can do a case.
Yeah. But like the cost is, the cost of that is, not sure. And these are baby steps for me. Like I am never ever really got too deep into hardware. I
used to build PCs. That was my hardware. I used to.
I mean, to me,
occasionally fix circuit stuff, but not much.
Right.
I know how to do it, but I wouldn't really do it.
Then I feel like that would be actually like an interesting, like, how can you build more bespoke, and even to a point where like the goal ultimately is like, yeah, maybe you can fit in and figure out integrating like a local LLM on device and have that useful on device and something miniature. What's that?
I got it. Your Raspberry Pi with some kind of camera system that recognizes people and animals and stuff. And so like when certain people, here it is, recognizes people. When they come up to your house, they're your friends of yours, your family, then it automatically detects their face and then texts their phone a very specific LLM-generated dad joke. Hit two birds with one stone. Takes our dad joke app. We can use that to generate the dad jokes, or and then you can use your Raspberry Pi.
We should just do.
I have a web camera. I have old webcam.
We don't even need a website. We could do it in server-side Swift.
Server-side 3-in-1. 3-in-1 right?
That would generate the dad joke. Do the push notification.
Yep, exactly.
Send that over.
Exactly.
Based on the Raspberry Pi's like webcam.
Yeah, it just has to recognize, and you just have to put in, people's faces, have it recognize the faces of your friends and family, and then put their numbers in, and then they get either we have an app they download, or we just do it a text message with their phone number and just send them a text message of a dad joke.
Yes.
And it looks like it comes from you, so that way they'll answer it and it'll get through their spam filters.
I feel like we have a lot of good ideas here. Or horrible ideas.
Good in air quotes. This is like when we had that idea for the podcast. It was like our whole claim. Aaron Goto, we're gonna do a podcast. It was like just the worst ideas ever. What do we call that? Do you remember that name?
Very bad app ideas or something.
Yeah, it was like bad app ideas. Like a podcast it was just gonna be us talking about bad app ideas, like fart apps. That kind of level bad.
That was an idea for like a podcast. It's just
that's
all the podcast was. But the thing is, like, those app ideas are still good. I mean, they're horrible apps, and nobody should ever do them.
Side project if you want to like just target some technology, or whatever. You don't really care if it's useful.
Just like just like the fart app that you can
we're
modulate.
never gonna stop talking about this idea. Even the keyboard doesn't exist anymore. We have to let it go.
You just all just
now we're gonna just do it in Vision Pro. It's just gonna happen.
You zoomed. You do the zoom mechanic to like do the
no.
And
we
then
gotta
you
do
like
an
do
AR
the drag.
one now.
Oh yeah, it's even we could do this in
AR
Vision
one.
Pro.
That way you can in the end, the finale of the app can be you get bombarded with poo emoji.
I guess this is what they're talking about with the season 5 curse.
That's right.
Can't
wait for season 6. It's gonna be awesome, guys. Stay tuned.
Well, with that, that's all we have for today. Oh man, this is going sideways.
Watch
quick.
this be our most highly rated episode ever. Watch.
Yeah, like and subscribe. You can learn more about Philly Cocoa at phillycocoa.org. There you find links to our Slack group, meetup schedule, and contact info. If you're feeling generous, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your podcast platform of choice is, and share us with all your developer friends. And one more thing, I'm going to just ring in the new year, hopefully if I can find it. Otherwise, you might have to edit this. All right, so one last dad joke on our way out. Why doesn't JavaScript have an integer type, Steve?
Why not?
Because it's keeping it real.
That's bad. That's bad.
Well, till next time, good luck on your own developer journey. We will cheer for you always.
6 seasons and a movie, guys.